What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA channel, podcast, show, whatever you want to call it. We are back, and it is Friday, October 17th. We got a big fight, I think, tomorrow. It's a pretty big fight. Seems like not that many people are talking about it or maybe as interested in RDR versus Brendan Allen, but I think it's a great fight. I'm a huge fan of RDR, and I can't wait to see how it goes down. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, Justin made a video, a breakdown, a prediction video, if you will, for this matchup, RDR versus Brendan Allen. You guys should check it out. And we're going to chat about that very shortly. We've got a bunch of other fun news topics and stories that we're going to talk about. And we're adding one to the list at the very end, Justin. We're going to talk about this for our final topic. Guess what boxing match is happening between two OG UFC vets? You have any idea?
I have no idea. Go ahead. Tell me.
This is crazy. It's kind of weird. It's Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva.
Oh, I did see that.
What's your we'll talk about it later. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to watch it because it's on the Jake Paul card. And I am curious about the Jake Paul card. But yeah, it's a weird announcement. It was funny. I was watching a show earlier today, and the way they described it, they were like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Obviously, huge names, MMA superstars. But they're like, it's kind of as if you said, hey, guys, guess what? The Beatles are reuniting, and we're going to sit down and get to watch them play a game of Monopoly as opposed to like sing. I was like, that's actually a really good analogy. Guess who's back in the mix?
I see. I had to message her. I messaged her the other day. Western was wondering where she was, so I got to make sure my girl's okay. And Celine, welcome back.
Celine, we haven't seen you forever. Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining. Celine, OG of the show. Toronto says, what's up, fellas? And Western says, Celine is back. And MGAL4 Production says, Anderson's going to KO Chris. Yeah, I don't know how Chris Weidman is going to – I don't think he's going to do very well against Anderson Silva.
He's fighting for a paycheck.
Dude, that's crazy. Oh, my God. Rick Allen is asking, bro, do you think it will be Poatan versus Jones? White House? Dude, I don't know. I'm down for it. I'm so down for it. I know Justin's not. Here, let me play this out. Let me explain why this is amazing if it does happen. Because, Justin, if you have Aspinall versus Jones, let's say, right, and Aspinall beats Jones, it doesn't mean that Jones is all of a sudden, or Aspinall is all of a sudden the GOAT of the sport. It doesn't mean that. That's not as intriguing. If you have Alex Pereira, considering everything that he's done, versus John Jones, whoever wins that fight, regardless of if a belt is on the line, will go down as the GOAT of the sport. That's big stakes, man. And you could just throw on a BMF belt title. You have to, because it'll be like the real BMF, like the real baddest MRFer in the history of the sport. Like, come on. What do you think about that?
I disagree, because the heavyweight division, the light heavyweight division are the weakest divisions in the UFC. So it's hard for me to say that the baddest heavyweight. I mean, I understand like the baddest heavyweight because he can beat all the other people, obviously, in the weight class that's smaller than him. But from a skill standpoint, the heavyweight division is the weakest division in the UFC.
No, I get that. I'm not saying because they're bigger than everybody that they can beat, but I'm saying just considering the legacy, all the things that Jones has done, stay at the top for like 15 title, whatever it is, the number of title defenses, the longevity of his career. And then look at Alex Pereira, what he's done, middleweight champ, light heavyweight champ, loses it, then regains it, beating Ankalaev, the big bad Ankalaev, the big bad boogeyman that everybody thought was going to be his weakness. Now we put them both at the top of Mount Rushmore. Now they fight. Now the winner of that, with the totality of all their accomplishments, come on, that's not dope.
I just don't like John Jones anymore. Like I used to be a big John Jones fan, and it's really just hard for me to support his career anymore. Just because, I mean, all the stuff that we talk about, like, just shut up and fight. Merab is going to defend his title 4 times this year. That's a bad motherfucker. All right, you got Ilia Topuria jumping around, taking out with the legend killer. That's a bad motherfucker. John Jones was a bad motherfucker in his time. And for his time, for nostalgia purposes, yeah, sure. I can see where some people might be interested, but what he's done in the last couple of years, I'm not even talking about his drug allegations. I don't care about that. Personally, I think TRT and testosterone and steroids should be legal across the board because regardless, USADA, United States Anti-Doping Association, right? They don't go to Russia. They don't go to Brazil. All these Brazilian fighters, these Russian fighters, like, I know for a fact that they're all juiced up. USADA wasn't going after them. They only get tested while they're in the U.S. And, it's just everyone's doing it. So let's just make it all legal, man. But regardless, so I don't want to take away from John Jones in that, because remember, steroids don't make your technique better. All right. They make you recover faster. It's like you still have to have great technique. I mean, steroids are used for recovering faster. All right, that they're not. It's not like, oh, you take testosterone and all of a sudden your rear naked choke is an okay to really great. I mean, you might get a little extra strength, but in MMA, that's the thing. Like, people don't understand when you like use like Deca or Diana ball, like you're gaining so much strength. Like, let's say a bench press. Let's say you can bench, I don't know, who's able, what, 155, let's say. If I get you on a cycle of Diana ball and Deca, like, we're going to have you over 200 really quick. But with that 200 pounds, you're gaining an excessive amount of weight. You have all this water retention. So there are guys reporting, and it's very common on like Diana ball to gain 20, 30 pounds. You can't do that in MMA. So you can't put on as much significant strength as people think you can from steroids for MMA. Yes. Do you get more lean mass? Yes. But it's not like your bench goes from 150 to 225 in a fight camp. No, you might gain a little bit of strength and you're going to trim some fat, but it's more for recovery. Guys use it for recovery. You got an old guy like me who has less than a level 200 testosterone. Then you have a guy like that's 20 years old, that's 900. How can my body repair as fast as his? It can't. It's impossible. It can't. So guys need to get off this whole steroid thing of, oh, steroids make everybody stronger and it makes you a better fighter. No, it doesn't. It just helps with recovery.
Now, we've got a lot of comments. I want to try and run through these. I know we haven't gotten to our first official topic yet, but I do want to give respect to everybody who's commenting. Rick Allen back in the mix. He said, we need James versus Gaethje. There can only be one Justin in the sport. I agree. Tehran, you always knows this stuff. How do you know? Even I watch stuff all the time, but I didn't even hear about this. Who is, tell me, I am a massive fan of Wellmaker. Who is his new opponent? And of course, it's going to be a Striker's Delight because Wellmaker will make it a Striker's Delight, period. But let us know. Tehran says Jones doesn't fight like a BMF. I don't know if I mean, I get what you're saying, but dude, Jones, Pereira, like those two guys, if it's them, it's got to be the BMF belt, in my opinion, with everything that Jones has done. Jones is kind of like think about like his alter ego. He's a bad dude. He's done a bunch of crazy stuff. Bro, do you think DuBronx is on pace to break Miller's record of most? Wow, that's a great. Can we table that? I mean, yes, I would say he probably is because he's just seems to be getting better as he gets older, but we'll have to come back to that. Adi Achala might be new to the channel. Welcome. He says, do you think Islam can beat Topuria? 100%. Justin,
yeah, I think he'd weight bully him around. I think he'd weight bull Ilia around.
Dude, Islam is a big dude, and he's looking super big right now. I do not think Islam is going to go back to lightweight. I just don't see it. So I think Ilia would move up, and I don't know, man. I think Ilia would get smashed. I think Islam is just Ilia is amazing, but Islam I just think is a slight level above. Matthew apparently doesn't like the BMF belts. I don't know. You throw it out there with Pereira and Jones. Come on, dog. Everybody's gonna love that. I get how it's a little bit annoying when they just say, hey, we're just gonna make this fight BMF. Like, granted, Max Holloway Gaethje was a sweet fight, but you know what I'm saying? Just to add a little flair to it. But here, I think it would really be warranted. That's my personal opinion, and I'm normally not a fan of the BMF, but I think that would be cool. Andrew says, let's effing go. Rick Allen says, I think DuBronx is already of course he's
that's not even a debate. He's arguably, in my opinion, one of the greatest lightweights of all time. I didn't say the greatest. I said
right. 100%. I mean, I totally agree. Tehran says Wellmaker's fighting a guy named Cody. Do you know who Cody Haddon is? I don't know who that is.
Never heard of him.
All right. Well, we're going to do some research on that because Wellmaker is a G. I've seen all his interviews. That guy, great personality, obviously amazing fight style. All right, guys, we're going to get into the show. Thank you all for the comments. If you could click that like button, we'd really appreciate it. We love the support and we love the engagement. So thank you guys so much. And let's get into the mix. First and foremost, we got some big fights this weekend. We're going to talk about the main and the co-main. I think it's the co-main is Holland versus Malott, if I'm not mistaken. But let's talk about RDR versus Allen. I'm going to turn it over to Justin because he made a breakdown video that was excellent. And he really got into the weeds in terms of the fighting style and the matchup. And I want to give Justin the floor. Justin, can you break this fight down for us and then tell us your prediction?
Yeah, so if you guys saw my video, man, Brendan Allen was a totally different fighter than I thought he was. And here's an interesting statistic. RDR and Brendan Allen both have 14 wins by submission. What are the chances of that?
That's great.
Brendan Allen, 29 years old, RDR, in his mid 30s. Brendan Allen has had significantly more fights than him too. I can't remember the exact number, but it's like 33 professional fights compared to like 24 from RDR. I didn't know that. Coming into this, before I did my research, I thought Brendan Allen was primarily a striker, and he's not. He's a submission expert. He's a top game wrestler, and he has incredible wrestling, incredible striking. His striking is very tight. He comes from an orthodox stance, very powerful, has very good hooks. He goes to the body, he goes to the head. So I think he's the cleaner striker of the two. I think the wrestling is about the same. And when it comes to grappling, it's hard to say. And how I said this in the video, and I'm going to say it how I say it now, I'm not going to say RDR is better than Brendan Allen. I'm not going to say Brendan Allen's better than RDR, but RDR is more dynamic. What I mean by that, Brendan Allen if Brendan Allen gets on your back, he has an incredible rear naked choke. With that being said, RDR has an incredible rear naked choke. But RDR also has an inverted triangle win. He has a Darce choke win. He has an anaconda win. He has a heel hook win. He has more tricks. All right. Again, Brendan Allen a lot reminds me of Jake Shields. All right. And what I mean by that is Jake Shields is such a great top position wrestler. Before you wrestle with Jake, before you grapple with Jake, I mean, unless you've done it 100 times like I have, he'll tell you exactly what he's going to do. He's going to pass to half guard. He's going to pin your head down. He's going to then pass to side position. And then when you try to turn away, he's going to go to mount. He's going to smother mount you. He's going to go for an arm triangle. If that doesn't work, then he's going to transition to armbar, and he's going to find one of those submissions, almost guaranteed, or guillotine. All right, those are his 3 submissions. All right. Brendan Allen is like that as well. Brendan Allen gets on top. He has incredible top pressure. He has an incredible rear naked choke. He has incredible ground and pound. But I don't feel Brendan Allen is dangerous off his back. Brendan Allen, I don't think, wants to be on his back. You look at RDR, on the other hand, very comfortable off his back. He has a very active guard. So when I'm doing my prediction, it's tough to say, is Brendan Allen's grappling going to be better than RDR's? Tough to say. They're both super high level grapplers, but they have such opposing styles. I'm edging RDR on this because he's going to be more, he's more dynamic of a grappler. He has more tricks. He has more bags of tricks than Brendan Allen does. Now, when it comes to striking, RDR kind of reminds me of DDP. He's very unorthodox. He'll throw like a left straight and step with his right foot and then step back to line up his leg kick or his body kick. So you have Brendan Allen like more of a technical striker, but you have the unorthodox striking of RDR. Now we go to the wrestling. Brendan Allen, great wrestler, great double leg, great single leg. RDR will shoot a double leg or shoot a single leg to end up in an over-under position or a double under position, which I found really, really interesting because he'll touch the legs like he's double leg. Almost something goes off in his brain. I'm sure it's the experience. He'll realize in his brain, I don't have it. And instead of trying to fight and waste all that energy, he'll just go up, stand up tall, and go to a body lock. Now, you've seen this with Bo Nickel. You saw this with all his fights before. Once he gets that over-under position, he has devastating knees. And it wasn't just against Bo Nickel. A lot of people think, oh, well, he's a pussy. Like, oh, Bo Nickel went down. Listen, RDR has done this time and time again with his opponents with his opponents in the UFC. He did it to Bo Nickel. He'll take a shot, whether it's a single leg or a double leg, realize he doesn't have the takedown, which at a high level, it's tough to. He'll transition up top to an over-under position to where it's negate the striking, and he's going to have those killer knees. And I really think those knees and I'm edging RDR in this fight because of his knees from the over-under position, his unorthodox striking, and I think he's more dynamic of a grappler. I'm not saying he's a better grappler. He's more dynamic.
It's such good analysis. Now, I have a question when it comes to the orthodox versus the unorthodox striking, the little wonky striking that RDR or DDP. If you say the level of striking is about equivalent, I don't know if it is, but let's just say theoretically, would you generally favor the guy with the kind of weird unorthodox striking because it's so out of the box and can't be replicated? So would you give the striking advantage then slightly to RDR, basically unorthodox versus orthodox?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not saying that a more technical striker is better or worse. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is it's more predictable. All right. If I hold mitts for you and I call out combos, we've only trained together a couple of times, you'll know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if we're sparring and you're attacking left and right, and because remember, it's easy to replicate guys like Brendan Allen because they're technical. You know what to expect. You can bring in 20 guys that can replicate Brendan Allen. You can't bring in guys to replicate DDP. You can't bring in guys to replicate RDR. You are looking for just, well, this guy, like, man, I fought some unorthodox guys before, and it's like, all right, well, we bring this amateur in, mostly just because he doesn't know how to strike, and we just know he's going to come forward. He's going to be weird and unorthodox. Not that he's doing things RDR is, but he's throwing things at me that I'm unfamiliar with. Because when I'm going with high-level guys, I can almost anticipate what they're going to do. They're going to play behind their jab cross hook, maybe slip my shots. When you have someone like DDP who's just running forward doing this for 25 minutes, I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, I have guys right now that I'm working with, and what's going to be awesome is you're going to watch them all December 13th that we have. After I did my DDP breakdown, I was breaking down his techniques. I have call outs like Elijah, DDP blitz. In his head, he knows left foot, right foot, boom, 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 shoot. So when you watch me corner Elijah Aris December 13th, you'll hear me yell DDP. And Elijah Brain he's going to go wonky. He's going to go left foot, right foot, left foot, put him up against the cage and get his takedown. And I think since DDP is the sport's evolving, guys, and traditional technique still works, but this unorthodox technique that's coming in, DDP, RDR, there's a couple other guys, MVP, that traditional like Taekwondo, like this all unorthodox is really hard to prepare for.
But MVP is like the one unorthodox that looks like so pretty. Like the other two look ugly, so you would think they're gonna have difficulties, but then they're skyrocketing to the top of the sport. By the way, we got a lot of comments. I want to give you guys respect and read your comments real quick, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Great breakdown, by the way. I love it. So we got Tehran said that Haddon is no pushover. He's talking about Wellmaker's opponent. Okay, I cannot wait for Wellmaker to make his return. Holy smokes. Tehran's also agreeing with you. He's got RDR beating Allen as well. So as Matthew says, RDR by submission round 3. I'm excited for this fight. Rick Allen is back. He says, you guys hear Bisping being a douche to John Gooden on broadcast. Do you think he needs to stop broadcasting? He isn't that good at it and gets easily upset, not very professional. So I didn't hear this. I don't know if you heard it, but it's funny that you mentioned this because Justin made a video that got a bunch of views a few months ago of Bisping essentially, in our opinion, disrespecting Lorosenko on air. And you could tell from, I mean, look, I don't know the guy personally, but it definitely seems like he's got a hair trigger temper and he seems to be a little have some emotional dysregulation. So I can 100% see it. I'm definitely going to check this out. Justin, did you hear about this? And are you surprised?
I didn't, but I'm not surprised. I mean, the little interaction I've had with Michael Bisping, he was always professional and nice and always have a smile when I was around. But these interactions, like the Lorosenko thing, like really, dude, I'm a guy, all right? I know about locker room talk. And I mean, we all guys talk, and that's just the way it is, but not publicly like that, man. Like, that was just so embarrassing. It was such a good video that Lorosenko reached out to us, right? Did she reach out to you?
Yeah. We talked on Instagram. I'm not going to like go into the.
But I'm just saying, like that stuff's just so unprofessional, man. And again, I'm a dog, all right? I'm not going to say that I'm better than Michael Bisping. I'm not going to say that what the things he said is something I wouldn't say, but I would never say him on broadcast. You know what I mean? There's a time and place, and embarrassing someone like that publicly and it wasn't one remark, it was multiple remarks. Then that fat idiot, those are nice tits. Like, what?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how humiliating. This girl is one of the best in the business. And Lorosenko is replacing Joe Rogan for a big card coming up. I just saw it on Instagram.
No way. Like a numbered card?
A numbered card. I can't remember which one it was. I wish I would have screenshot it. Yeah, like Joe Rogan isn't going to be able to do it, and Lorosenko's stepping in to fill up. And what a step up! And I tell you what, she deserves it. I think she's great.
No, she does deserve it. Her analysis is spot on. She's done such a great job time and again. No, I 100% agree. I'm going to watch this footage later. Maybe I'll make a video about it today or tomorrow. So thank you for letting us know about that. All right, moving on to another big fight on this card, in my opinion, as me and Justin are both Kevin Holland fans for sure, fighting Mike Malott or Malott. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce his name, out of Canada. So Justin also broke down this fight. Justin, take it away. Give us your thoughts and your prediction.
Okay, when you look at Malott, or however you pronounce it, I'm just going to call it Malott. Dude, he's explosive. He's Canadian, and I know that doesn't mean much, but I tell you what, I have fought a lot of Canadians, and every time I have fought a Canadian, they're in shape and they are ready to fight every time. He has something that Malott does. He ends most of his combos with kicks, which I think is awesome. He'll throw like 3 punches, then a big high kick. He'll go to the body. He's very explosive coming forward. It's as I'm trying, but the thing that turns me off about him is his inexperience. He only has 15 pro fights. He's 12-2-1. His wins, 5 wins by KO, 6 wins by submission. So he can grapple, he can strike. He's been knocked out twice. He's 5-1 in the UFC. But when I look at his record, he makes his UFC debut in 2020 against Mickey Gall, who I thought fucking sucked, and that's who I wanted to fight when I was in the UFC. He finishes him in the first round. He does a grappling match with Trevin Giles. He wins a decision. Johan Lassis, don't even know who that guy is. Adam Fugit, don't know who that guy is. And then, he gets a little momentum here where he's on, a 2-fight win streak or 3-fight win streak. And then the UFC, I think, was like, all right, let's give him a vet of the sport. They give him Neil Magny, and Neil Magny finishes him in the 3rd round. Neil Magny, in my opinion, is a good fighter. I'll even say he's better than good. He's a great fighter. But he's not a champion quality fighter, and he lost. Then the UFC gives him Trevin Giles, who he's already had a grappling match with that went to decision, and he squeaks out a win. Then he fights Charles Radke. I don't know any of these guys. I think that this guy has a lot of hype coming in, but I feel like the UFC was feeding him fights because all these wins besides Neil Magny, I don't know any of these guys. Now you have Kevin Holland. Get him back on a little win streak here and give him a vet like Kevin Holland. When I watch this guy fight, dude, he looks good, man. And watching him, I initially was like, dude, I don't think Kevin Holland is going to be able to do much with him. But then you look at Kevin Holland's resume. All right, he's 15-11 in the UFC. But here's the thing. My biggest thing with Kevin Holland was he doesn't show up consistently enough. All right, dude, I was way wrong. We look at his Contender Series fight. He fights John Phillips, white Mike Tyson. Striker, chokes him out in the 3rd round. Gerald Mercerch, world-class grappler, wins a decision. Loses to Brendan Allen, who's in the main event. All right. Anthony Hernandez finishes him in 40 seconds in the 1st round. All right. Anthony Hernandez was supposed to be in a main event. Joaquin Buckley, incredible. Whooped Colby Covington, knocks him out in 30 seconds in the 3rd round. Charles Ontiveros. All right, if you remember, he picks him up, slams him, hurts a neck injury, has to quit. Ronald Sozu, top 10 competitor, knocks him out from bottom position, loses to a very tough Derek Brunson, loses to a very tough Marvin Vettori by decision twice in a row. Alex Oliveira, Cowboy, incredible striker, right hook to ground and pound, performance bonus. Tim Means, notable name, loses to Khamzat Chimaev, champion, loses to top 10 contender Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, beats Michael Chesa, loses to Jack Maddalena, loses to JDM by decision, loses to Michael Page by decision, loses to Roman Delaziz by rib injury, loses to RDR, who's going to be going for a title, beats Gunnar Nelson, beats Vincent LeCue, loses to Daniel Rodriguez, and now he's at Mike Malott. I just think that the experience and the quality of opponents Holland has faced and Holland has beat is just so much more than Malott. And I think it's going to show when they fight.
Dude, when you say the resumes comparatively, dude, Kevin Holland's resume, fine. Some of those are, I guess a lot of those are losses, but still, you think about it. He's fought Khamzat Chimaev, RDR. What were some of the other names
Daniel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Roman Delaziz.
Roman Delice, Vicente Luque.
Michael Page, Jack Del Demalena. These are guys. These are all
JDM, the current champ. That's crazy.
He lost to JDM by decision.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Michael Chesa, who's a great name. He's been in the UFC forever. Submits him in the 1st round. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Yeah, he fought Wonderboy too. By the way, we got MMA on our mind. Says, "What's up, guys?" So Tehran, I just want to throw this out here real quick. Tehran says he's got Mike Malott beating Holland, but after reviewing the resumes like Justin just did he change your mind at all? And by the way, Justin, throw in the other thing that you mentioned in your video about the reach and about Kevin Holland's length and how you thought he was able to might get a submission or something like that.
Yeah, so that's a great point. I forgot about that point. So Kevin Holland has an 83-inch reach, guys. Or no, excuse me, 81 inches. Mike Malott has a 73-inch reach. All right, so there's a significant reach advantage here. Kevin has dynamite in his hands, and Mike Malott blitzes forward. Kevin Holland has an incredible check left hook. And the difference between Kevin Holland and Mike Malott is Mike Malott has power. Don't get me wrong. He can knock out Holland, obviously. He does have power. But I just think the range is going to be really tough for Malott. And when he's blitzing in, I think Holland can land that right cross. He can land that check left hook as he's backing up. And hit with that length, he has an incredible Darce choke. He has an incredible anaconda choke. When you have this kind of length on your arms, you just have so many more opportunities for more submissions. I have a 67-inch reach. My Darce choke fucking sucks until it gets locked in. If I lock a Darce choke in, it's a wrap. But getting it locked in because of my reach, it's very tough. I have never even finished an anaconda choke. I can't even think of unless it was against an amateur. Like I said, when you watch Kevin Holland fight, when you look at Mike Malott fight, and you don't look at it, it looks like Mallott's going to come in here and just smash it because he's so explosive. He's gritty. He's that tough Canadian, has that really tough exterior. But then you look at the resume and it's like, man, Kevin Holland has beaten a who's who. Mike Malott has not beaten a who's who. The one chance that he had to beat a who's who, he lost to Neil Magny, and now he's fighting a Kevin Holland who has already been there and beat a who's who. So it's hard for me to vote against him. And I know the odds are close. I thought Kevin Holland would be a little bit of a favorite. He's a slight dog, which even gets me more excited because I'm planning to make more money on Kevin Holland.
Dude, I feel like the way you explained it, and I bet occasionally, but rarely, but it does make me want to put money on Kevin Holland. Plus, it's a cool story. I think the thing is, the UFC is obviously trying to build Mike Malott or Malott. I think it's Malott, actually, but I think they're trying to build him because obviously he could be a star for Canada, right? We haven't had a big Canadian star since GSP, so I believe they do want that. But Kevin Holland is a good win, too, for the UFC because I think he's got a lot of star potential as he gets his training clicked in. Go ahead, Justin.
Okay, so I want to respond to Tehran here because I agreed. When I was making the initial take, I agreed with you in the sense of thinking like, yeah, he's just inconsistent. He doesn't show up on point every time. But then when you look at his resume, again, Derek Brunson loses by decision. Marvin Vettori loses by decision. They're top 10 guys. I mean, who did he not show up against? Khamzat? Stephen Thompson. Yeah. These are all Jack Del Molina, who he lost a split decision to. Michael Venom Page, all Roman Dolidze, RDR. Like, I mean, he lost these fights, but these guys aren't chumps. RDR has 14 submission wins. Roman Dolidze, he got injured during that fight. Daniel Rodriguez loses by decision. So, I mean, it's tough to say because my initial thought, Tehran, was I agree with you. Like, I've said it on the show that he's just inconsistent. But after looking at his resume, dude, all his losses are to top 10 guys. And it's not like he's losing. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's not like he's losing to no-name guys and then comes in and beats a named guy and then loses to a known guy. He's losing to former champions and all top 10 guys.
And on top of that, he's not doing it anymore, but he was jumping back and forth between welterweight and middleweight. A lot of those losses at middleweight, he's even admitted, he's like, dude, I'm way undersized. Once they get a hold of me, I'm just totally outmatched in terms of strength. Plus, he's said that he actually, if he wanted to, and I believe him, he said if he wanted to, he could make lightweight, but he just doesn't like to cut a lot of weight. So he doesn't cut very much weight at welterweight. And I think he cuts no weight when he goes to middleweight. So that's another little fun fact for you guys about Kevin Holland. That's also probably attributes to some of the losses. Not trying to make excuses for him, but that's just the reality of the situation. Okay, we have a lot of topics I want to keep going. So let's move on to a lot of fun topics, by the way. Topic number 3. Now, let me preface this because I think this is getting blown out of proportion. Luke Thomas went on Submission Radio earlier today and said, what's wrong with Chimaev? He hasn't even defended the title once. How is he calling out Pereira? I don't think he's explicitly calling out Pereira. I think what he's – I haven't checked the podcast and gone through the transcripts, so I can't say this 100%, but I believe what he said was – the direct quote was, yeah, of course I would love to fight Pereira because he feels he has a distinct advantage over Pereira, obviously in the wrestling department. But Pereira has also got the striking advantage against Chimaev. Now, I do think it's a compelling matchup, just not now. I think it's way too soon. It may never make sense because Pereira is almost 39. But I do think it would be interesting in the future if they're both around and we have this crazy striker with a slight size advantage versus obviously the best wrestler the UFC has ever seen, just for fun. Let's just play it out, Justin. If these two did match up, how do you think it goes?
I don't know, man. I haven't seen enough of Pereira's defensive wrestling. I mean, obviously we know Chimaev's game plan. He's going to shoot in the first 10 seconds. I mean, I know you're a Chimaev fan, but I would want Pereira to win that match so bad. I mean, just the storyline, and I just like Pereira so much. I like Chimaev too, and I want him to win. I want him to have success. He's great. He's a great face for the sport. The things he does out of the octagon, I think, are incredible. I know he helps. You know, he's really emotional when it comes to kids and stuff, and I love that shit. But what Pereira has done and been able to do is lose, come back and win, lose, come back and win, and now he's won 3 UFC championships. Like, I mean, I don't want anybody to beat this guy. I want Pereira to finish his reign as champion and retire when he wants to.
I agree with you. I actually made a video about this on Thursday, and I said I actually don't want this fight. I said maybe one day, but like I don't want this fight for that reason, because obviously Chimaev and Pereira are basically my 2 favorite fighters in the UFC. Maybe I don't know, maybe even ever. I get so amped when I see Pereira fight. Maybe I give Chimaev a slight edge, but they're basically neck and neck. So I don't want this fight for that reason. Kind of why I didn't want Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. But I do think
I have to take this call. This is my son's high school.
Go for it. If they do continue these amazing, I'm going to mute it for Justin real quick. If they do continue these amazing trajectories and actually get to that point where there's nobody else for either of them to fight, yes, of course, I believe it would be a very compelling matchup. But for now, let's just let them both be in the UFC. Let them both reign supreme. I think that's much more fun. Okay, so anyways, that's just a quick little interjection. Let me go back to some comments and then we can move on. Tehran says Luke Thomas rubs me the wrong way. I know what you mean. Yeah, he does seem very arrogant and God, look, hey, I never met the guy, so let me preface. I'm just saying perception wise, okay? He rubs me that same way, and I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Donald Gage says recovering alcohol. Luke Thomas, a recovering alcoholic. I didn't know that, but hey, it can happen to any of us, I suppose. All right, moving on to topic number 4. Excuse me. We've been seeing some.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do we show MMA on the mind?
Yes,
I didn't.
Yes. Okay. MMA on your mind. My mind. Welcome back to the show. Thank you once again for joining. We appreciate it as always. But moving on, we still haven't got an announcement yet. I know Dana White hinted that Ilia might be on the first Paramount card after the new year, and I know other people have speculated that as well, but we still have no official announcement, no fight made yet for either Justin Gaethje or Paddy Pimblett. It's gotta be one of the two. Justin, what do you think? What's happening? What do you think is gonna go down with this lightweight title fight?
Man, you guys know who I want. I want Justin Gaethje, man. I think he's deserved it. He stepped up when he didn't have to for 300. I know he lost, and people are like, oh, I lost Max Holloway. I don't give a fuck about that. Justin Gaethje is the most dangerous MMA fighter, arguably in the history of the UFC at all divisions. He's the most violent guy. How can you not be? That's a guy that I don't get up and go to the bathroom for. For Khamzat Chimaev, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom because I know he's going to hold him down and have his way with him. When you have the chaos of Justin Gaethje coming in there with his brutal leg kicks and knocking people out and getting rocked and getting dropped and just watching somebody be able to persevere through the damage he's taking it's just an incredible feat. And I hope it's Justin Gaethje. He's done so much for the UFC, and I'm really hoping the UFC gives him this one.
I hope so too. I think it'd be a great moment. I know there will be some people that will complain. Again, he lost to Max Holloway, but he did beat Rafael Fiziev, and he was supposed to fight Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker pulled out of that fight. Everybody's getting on Gaethje's case for just beating Fiziev, but it's like he was supposed to fight Dan Hooker. Now everybody's saying the winner of Arman versus Dan Hooker, that's a number 1 contenders fight. What's everybody upset about, right? I want to see Justin Gaethje. He's a legend as well. That's the rumor that I'm hearing, is that it's going to be Gaethje versus Ilia, but nothing is done yet, so nothing's set in stone. I'm sure some different moving pieces and negotiations have to all work out, but they haven't announced a fight for Paddy yet either, and I think depending on, they're probably going to make that fight once they get the Gaethje Ilia fight secured. I wonder if maybe if the negotiations go south, then they'll just have Paddy come in and fight for the belt. I'm cool with either option, but yes, I'm with Justin. I'd love to see Gaethje get in there, give him one more crack, and then maybe he'll step out and have his final fight there. Okay, got a couple of comments here. Tehran says, I think Alex can still fight well into his 40s because he's in a heavier weight division fighter. I mean, yeah, he could. But I'll tell you this. I don't know what why exactly, or like the exact reason why you're bringing this up, but what I don't want to see, what I absolutely do not want to see, me personally, is I don't want to see Alex go out there and take a loss, as he gets into his 40s. And maybe that won't happen even if he fights into his 40s, but I don't want to see that downward trajectory. I think what Alex is planning is to make a stand at heavyweight, either fight John Jones or Cyril Gane if he wins the belt, or whoever it may be. I think he gets that belt. I think he steps away. He just made a post talking about how he's about to be 39. The time is now. I feel like he's not thinking about fighting into his 40s, and I'm totally fine with that. Dude, if he gets the heavyweight belt, I want him to retire. I don't want him to lose. I'm happy with him leaving, even though he's one of my favorite fighters to watch of all time. But I don't know, Justin, what do you think about that?
I'm with you 100%. Like, I hate these guys like Anderson Silva that just had such a great reign. They take an injury or they're getting old. They take too much damage and they start losing and losing and losing, man. Like, just George St. Pierre did it right. I think Khabib left a little too early, but like guys, like I think George St. Pierre is the one exception that did it right. I think he's the only guy to ever leave at the right time.
By the way, Tehran says it's going to be Ilia versus Gaethje for UFC 324. Why do you, Tehran, tell us why you feel so, I mean, look, that's what I've been hearing. Everybody's been saying that's the rumors, but can you give us some insight if you have heard specific details or read it from somewhere or heard something specific? I'd love to know why you feel so confident about that, but I hope it's going to be Justin Gaethje versus Ilia. I love that fight. Oh yeah, Donald says Ilia has a lot of drama going on with his wife. I heard that they just deleted a bunch of photos from their, I mean, look, it could be a real sign that they're breaking up or something like that, but I don't know. We haven't been talking about it because it's just so speculative, and yeah, I don't know. It's not really interesting to me, I suppose, but yes, I did hear that as well. Okay, moving on. We got I think a huge fight card next week, and we want to talk about that main event. Aspinall versus Gane coming soon in just over 8 days. And I, for one, am very, very excited. Now, when I was listening to the crack on the Ariel Helwani YouTube channel, people on that show, people on Ariel's channel in general, a lot of other folks, they speak about this fight almost as if, oh, well, we still need Aspinall versus Jones at the White House card. It's like, people are just assuming that Aspinall is going to walk through Gane and completely win. And I know you're not the biggest fan of Gane and from basically that performance with John Jones, but I'm really perplexed. How do people think that I heard Volkov say that it's a 50-50 fight, and I believe he's fought both of these guys. Why do you think people are just so set that Aspinall is no way he's going to lose and he's going to be the reigning champ come June?
Well, when you look at Tom Aspinall's resume, I mean, it's finish after finish after finish after finish. And then you look at, the weight, going into this, I'm looking up Aspinall right now, 15-3, like, hold on, let's look this up. 11 by knockout, 4 by submission, 8-1 in the UFC. Like, Curtis Blades knocks him out in the first round. Sergey Pavlovich knocks him out in a minute. Marcin Tubera, never heard of him, knocks him out in a minute. Yeah, Curtis Blades gets the injury. Volkov, arm lock, first round, second round, first round, like this guy has never been to the third round. I mean, you have someone like Cyril Gane who, and I hate that I have so much hate for Cyril Gane because he's a good fighter, but the reason I don't like him, and it's not that I don't like him, I just don't like the situation that if Tom Aspinall doesn't do something dramatic and finish Cyril Gane, then we got to talk about John Jones. And that's more of why I don't like him. I mean, people have bad outings. I am the epitome of having bad outings when it comes to fighting. So, I mean, I take that outing that he had against John, and it's just like, fuck, man, if Tom doesn't do what he needs to do, like, we have to talk about how great John Jones is again. And I'm just sick of that.
I'll tell you, I'll be honest. I'm rooting for Cyril Gane, and I'm probably in the vast minority. They were even saying on the show today, oh, it's going to be a disaster for heavyweight if Gane wins. I get why they're saying that because it's going to be confusion because, wow, he lost so easily to John Jones. I get all that, okay? I actually want Gane to win, though, and I know there'll be those tweets from John Jones that'll annoy you, but, dude, if it's Gane versus Pereira for the heavyweight strap, if it's not Pereira versus Jones, that's a dope fight. That's a dope fight. And like, you have to give it to Gane at that point. If he beats Tom Aspinall, who's like, from what you're saying, you're reading through his record, he seems unbeatable. I actually think people are saying it's going to be a lame outcome. I actually think that's a great outcome. That's a dope outcome. And then we can have Pereira take his choice. Maybe he wants to go and fight Cyril Gane, which would be an amazing kickboxing delight to watch for the UFC heavyweight strap. Or maybe he says, nah, forget it. I want to fight John Jones. They fight for the BMF, whatever. So to me, I think that's great. Now, if Aspinall wins, if Pereira wants to move up, he has to fight Aspinall. I don't think they're going to let him get around that. If he wants to take a crack at it, he's going to have to fight for the belt. And that's that, which is a fine fight too. But I think it's going to be much more interesting to have the two amazing kickboxers go head to head. I'm rooting for Gane. I'm actually going to put some money on Gane, just to put some good vibes out there. But that's my take, and I know most people probably disagree with me and probably getting mad right now. Let's look at the comments, but that's what I'm thinking. Matthew says he's still going to KO Justin, wife or no wife. He's talking about Ilia Topuria. Gane will get KO'd first round. I mean, look, that's what most people are saying. I don't know. I'm going the other way. I think Gane is being very, very severely, drastically overlooked. That's my feel, but obviously you are much more, your analysis is much better than mine. Donald Gage says, so few heavyweights. Seems like Gane's only, So few heavyweights. Seems like Gane's only. Oh, Gane's the only heavyweight. Yeah, the heavyweight division is a little lackluster right now in the UFC. Pereira will bring some major energy to that. So
hey,
anyway,
if you take Gane, like you're at like plus 330. So
I'm totally taking him. I gotta put that in now. I'm totally taking Gane at plus 330. That's amazing. Dirt MMA, what's up? What's up? That's a banger. Which fight's a banger in particular? Wait, he says Gane needs a win. Tom has to prove another one. Yeah, Gane needs a win. If Gane gets his dude. Also, it's kind of funny. I have to admit, if Gane does win after all the stuff that everybody put out there, MMA Guru, all these guys saying Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall, all this crap that's been built up, all this negativity around Jon Jones, it would be kind of funny because that in one instance, it'd be like nobody would talk about it anymore. And I know you hate that because you're not a fan of Jon Jones, but I feel like Jon Jones has been done a little dirty by all the media and all the YouTubers out there. That's my personal opinion. But anyways, Dirt MA says, I can't trust Tom. He lost my bet one time with, when he had that knee injury. Wait, Curtis? Are you talking about
Curtis Blades?
Yeah. Curtis Blades when he had the knee injury. Yeah, that was crazy.
I put Curtis Blades in that fight. I was watching. I was like, oh fuck, let's go.
Oh god! And then Tom Aspinall was like injured and out for a year. Holy smokes, he would do it again. Hey, Dirt MMA, welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying it. And guys, if you could click that like button, we'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's move it on to topic number 6. Justin, one of Justin's favorite topics, not Umar in particular, but Merab. Umar is fighting Mario Batista. When is it? On UFC 321. What am I saying? So in 8 days as well. Justin, I want to ask you a 2-part question. Number 1, how do you see it going with Umar versus Mario Batista? And number 2, if Umar gets the win, does that immediately elevate him back to another shot at Merab?
Absolutely. Mario Batista is somebody that we don't talk about enough, and we need to start showing this guy some respect. This guy is on an 8-fight win streak right now. He's the only guy that Merab has not went through. 6 wins by submission, 3 by knockout, 7 by decision. So this guy is used to going the distance. All right. You know, he just saw him beat Patchy Mix. I mean, say what you want about Patchy, man. I love Patchy. Patchy's a dog. I thought he won. I thought Patchy actually won the fight. But regardless, I mean, he has a win over Jose Aldo, Ricky Simon, Brian Kelleher. Like, this guy has beat some tough guys, and to have 8 wins in the UFC, he's 10-2 overall in the UFC. I mean, it's a great cap, a feather in the cap. I think Umar is going to get the job done. I think Umar is going to grind out a decision. But man, I would love Mario Batista to win, so we have new blood. Because if Umar wins, now we just get another rematch. And I'm just so sick of this rinse and repeat. Merab has beaten 8 out of the top 10 guys in the UFC, and he's beaten 2 or 3 of them twice. And now this is just gonna be another rematch of him just doing what he's already done. And I would rather have Batista win and get some fresh blood in the division.
I'm actually with you, even though I am a fan of Umar and I like to see Team Khabib do their thing. And I think it was a great fight the first time. But at some point, you got to start feeling bad for Merab, because what is he doing? He's just sitting up there going through these guys a second time, and that's got to be more difficult to get motivated for and to wake up for. And so you do kind of feel for the guy, because they're just going to have, that's how it goes. They're going to have just unlimited chances as long as they stay at the top to keep coming and coming. Eventually he's going to fall one day. That's just math.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, it's so hard to win in the UFC, let alone, because every time you fight someone, like, you get a feel for him, like, oh shit, this is what this, I wasn't expecting this. Like, during my training camp, I wasn't expecting this. So now your next training camp, okay, now we can expect that, and we can learn and grow better. So it's like when like sports teams play against each other, and one team gets blown out, And then the next time they play, everyone's like, oh, well, this team blew them out last time, so they're probably going to blow them out again. Absolutely not. How many times do you see a blowout, and then the second time they play in the season, it's either a close game or it swings the other way? Because the coaches are going to watch film. They're going to watch what they did. They have the players out there, seeing like, oh, wow, this player did this really good and this and that. And you're going to make adjustments. When you're fighting at the top of the level, you're constantly making adjustments every single day. And the more times these guys get chances at Merab, the more adjustments they're going to make and the better chance of success they're going to have. It's so hard to beat a good guy twice. It's so hard.
On top of that, you're getting more footage release as he continues to defend the title. People are going to be breaking him down more and more and trying to understand and engineers ways to beat him. That's got to be a weird spot to be in Merab's position right now, where everybody's just gunning for him and he's kind of just sitting there and having so many fights and putting out so much data. But
I think he loves it. I think he loves it, actually. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't like it. But knowing Merab and knowing his personality, I think he loves it. I don't think he gives a fuck who he fights. He just wants to fight. I would care. Personally, I would care. I'd be like, I've already beat this guy. I don't want to do it again. I already beat this guy. I don't want to do it again. Merab's like, okay, let's go spar 3 hours before the fight. Let's fucking do this crazy shit. Like this guy, when we talk, like a lot of people talk to me and maybe you feel this way. Like when people look at me, I take short notice fights. I'm always high risk, high reward situations, regardless. Mm-hmm. Like Merab's like that, but even on a higher level. And for me to be like that, I was just talking to my son like this, because this is crazy news that I haven't even told you yet. I got proposed for a fight tonight, tomorrow night, and next weekend. And I said, fuck it. I'll take all three of them. And that's what
yeah. You're fighting tonight?
Yeah, against an NFL player. Like it's called Fight Circus. Yeah. And dude, I was like, my son's like, why would you do this? What if you get hurt? It's like, and what if I don't? Like, this is the thing that separates like levels of, like, you have your civilians, and then you have MMA fighters, and then you have guys like me who I think I'm a little crazy. And then you have guys like Merab. They're on a whole nother level. I just love it. And I can't get enough of Merab.
By the way, that's crazy. Okay, I did not know that. That's Wild Fight Circus, guys. Check it out. We got a bunch of comments from Dirt MMA. Let me give him some shine here. And by the way, Matthew says Merab needs some new fights instead of rematches. Dirt MMA says I took Umar over Merab. So did I. I mean, well, look, Umar did have, I believe, a broken hand, but we're not going to go into that again.
Everybody has broken everything.
Okay.
Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you noticed that? I keep sending you every time a guy loses. Oh, I came in, I had 2 broken hands and a broken rib, but I needed to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
like you don't hear it. Like I like what Habib says. If you had an injury and you win, then mention it. But every time these guys lose, like Ankalaev, I think like all his ribs were broken. He was in cardiac arrest. Like everything was wrong with him in that fight. Why are you taking that fight? You're the UFC champion. Like Conor McGregor pulled out to a broken toe, and now you have broken ribs, and you're going to fight Alex Pereira. Like what? What kind of coach do you have? What kind of manager you have? You're a fucking idiot.
That's actually true. That's actually a very good point. He shouldn't have even said anything, because he's like clearly knew. He clearly decided to take it, and then he probably knew he was gonna say that if he lost. So
here's the other thing. You're absolutely right. And this is what coaches and managers are for. Like people think the coaches are to teach you technique and the manager is there to negotiate. No, that's not true. The coach and the manager is there to protect you. And there's absolutely no reason in any life that the UFC champion fights the number 1 contender with broken ribs. There's no reason. There's no reason. If it's that serious, vacate your belt because you're injured, and then fight. And then what Alex fights for an interim belt or gets a belt, and then you fight him to get it back. Like your coach and your manager need to protect the fighter, because fighters are. I'll fight injured, but I'll fight a tough matchup. But I expect Dennis Davis, Roman, to tell me, hey, this isn't a good idea. We are not doing this. Sometimes fighters need to be protected from themselves, and the coach and the manager are supposed to do that. And obviously, Ankalaev, he has, I don't know, he's either lying or he has a bad support system.
Well, they did say, or I think Ali Abdelaziz said they tried to get him to stop and he wouldn't. But let me put it this way. I am so glad he took that fight, because I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And Alex Pereira, I'm not even going to think about the broken rib from just whatever, because he took the fight. He went in there, and it was just so glorious to see Alex Pereira go in there and shut him down. And you know what somebody said? I think it was Anthony Smith. He goes, "Oh, Uncle I've had a broken rib." Well, he wasn't getting elbowed in the rib. He was getting elbowed in the head. So I don't think it made any difference. I was like, oh, that's actually a good point.
He did. So,
he did
when
elbow him in the rib.
Ankalaev went down, the first strike, he was covering his head. The first 12-6 elbow was to his ribs.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, I think I heard about this.
So I think that Ankalaev, if he did have broken ribs, broke his ribs from that elbow.
Wow.
And we could do more research to figure it out, but I really don't care that much. Yeah. But I do think the 12-6 elbow broke his ribs, and he's just saying, "Oh, I came into like why?"
Yeah, maybe
your whole legacy. Nobody likes you in the UFC. Dana White doesn't like you. You're not a fan favorite by any means. He's not a bad guy. He's just lackluster. He's just a boring personality. He's probably really nice. Dude, most of the Russian guys are pretty nice. They're just personalities all the same. It's boring as fuck. I have no interest to watch him fight. So you're one of the most unlike guys in the division. Nobody wants you as champion, and you're going to fight compromise. Bad support system.
By the way, Dirt MMA also has more comments. He said Merab is the machine. Heck yeah, he said, and I guess he's trained. He fights as well. Where do you train out of? He trained since he was a youngin. And Donald Gage, Merab is an animal. He actually makes me really respect what Mighty Mouse accomplished. Let's go, 100%. Dirt MMA says scared of fear, but fear not. Yeah, that's why I don't fight. LOL. Tehran says, how does Merab do at 145? Justin, I think. Well, I don't know. You say.
I don't know, man. I've never rolled with Merab, and I've always wanted to, but everyone, like, every time he came to the gym, like, he'd always have his match lineup because everybody wants a piece of Merab, and he'd rather go with some better, higher, I shouldn't say better guys, but more notable guys than me. I always wanted to go with him just to see what that pace was like and that smothering pace. But honestly, I think Merab can be, I don't know. It's like when Henry Cejudo went from 125 to 135, he had less success. I think Merab wouldn't do as well because he'd be so small. But with that being said, he beat Jose Aldo, and he's a former 145-pound champion. So who knows?
I just feel like he'll find a way. He'll find a way. That energy will carry him through. He'll just be a nightmare to deal with his movement, and he'll figure something out. I wouldn't be surprised.
Sorry to interrupt you, but think of him. He has to push around more weight.
Right.
So how's his gas tank going to be? I mean, we're talking about, guys are going to be 160 pounds when they come to fight compared to 140 pounds or excuse me, 145 or 150. It's a significant weight difference.
Fair point. By the way, I guess Dirt MMA has a YouTube channel that says the same handle as his name here. All right, we'll have to check it. Yep, we'll have to check it out for sure. And then he says Cejudo's fighting. Yeah, we talked about the Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot fight, which I freaking love. That might be my favorite fight announcement of the last slew of fight announcements, and that's including. Even though I'm stoked for Merab versus Petr Yan, but obviously it is a rematch, so it is what it is. But dude, this fight is so sick. I did not think Cejudo would have taken this fight, but I absolutely love it. MMA on my mind says he couldn't take Aldo down though. About Merab. Ooh, interesting point.
Aldo has some of the best takedown defense in ever. You know what I mean? And you're right. He couldn't take him down, but he definitely won the fight.
Yeah. Oh, first
step. Yeah, just to go to your point, MMA on your mind, the size difference probably played a factor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. Last topic, kind of a funny one here. Apparently on Jake, what's it called? On Jake Paul's undercard in this boxing match, this crazy boxing match that's coming up soon on Netflix. We have Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva 3, but this is in a boxing match. And the people that have been talking about it today are kind of clowning it a little bit. As I mentioned at the top of the show, they called it's as if the Beatles were getting back together and announcing that they're having a reunion to play a game of Monopoly as opposed to singing. So it's kind of funny, right? They've had such spectacular fights in mixed martial arts. Now they're having a boxing match. Anderson Silva, even though he's 50, he's looking sharp as ever in the boxing ring and had some great victories. Weidman, I don't think really known for his boxing skills, so it's a bit of a weird one. I don't know, Justin. What are your thoughts? Is this something that you're even going to turn on? Are you still is it just just straight curiosity? It's going to be free on Netflix. Is this something that you're interested in?
I'm going to grab a joint. I'm going to prop my feet up, and for nostalgia purposes, I'm supporting this guy, man. Anderson Silva, in my opinion, a lot of people say he's not the greatest, but that means you didn't watch him when he was in his prime. Anderson Silva was on a 16-fight win streak in the UFC, or I think he had 16 title defenses or something. It was either a 16-fight win streak or 16 title defenses. He's one of, in my opinion, top 3 to 5 greatest MMA fighters of all time. George St. Pierre obviously is probably my GOAT. Anderson Silva 2 or 3. like, how can we not watch this? And Weidman's the guy that dethroned him. Weidman's the guy that knocked him out. They did a rematch. Anderson broke his leg. The nostalgia purpose for watching Anderson Silva knock out Chris Weidman are going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. And I think that it's probably a smart play by Jake Paul to get some more MMA fans to kind of tune in and start watching the main event, catch that. It's a smart play. It's a smart play. Still playing off him building a name off of the MMA fan base. So I probably will watch it too. I am curious. I feel like Anderson's going to smoke Weidman, right? It's going to be pretty lopsided.
Yeah, I think he's going to smoke him.
Anderson Silva, arguably the greatest striker, one of the greatest strikers in the history of the UFC. And yes, he's 50, but I imagine he's on some good stuff. Like, keeping him fit.
That's another thing. Yeah, he's going to be able to keep you there. He's going to be on the juice for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to strategically cycle off if they even is any bit of testing. But, actually, I just saw a clip over in the summer in August. Anderson Silva was down training with Khamzat Chimaev actually in Huntington Beach at the facility there with Bear DeGidio or whatever the guys from that podcast that I'm blanking on right now, the Jackson podcast. So he was down there training at Jackson with Khamzat Chimaev. They had a cool conversation before Khamzat won the belt. He's like, Anderson, you're a legend, brother. He's like, yeah, I had my time, but now it's your time. It was such a cool moment that they caught there. But anyways, this is the last topic of today. We're going to go through the last bit of comments and we're going to close out the show. Dirt, by the way, I believe this is your first time joining. I don't remember you before, but let us know what you think of the show. It was great to have you.
I subscribed.
Hey, Justin, you just got a new subscriber, Dirt. And Dirt says, I want Rampage back. We need Raja Jackson. That's who we need. Teron Brown says, Justin, were you ever a pro? Dude, Justin's a huge pro wrestling fan.
Huge pro wrestling fan. That's what got me into MMA. Like, that's what got me into wrestling. When I was 8 years old, I thought pro wrestling was like high school wrestling. So I signed up and I was ready to put my knee brace on and crack a couple beers at 10 years old, smash them and stunner people. And it wasn't anything like that, but I'm still a huge wrestling fan. If you saw my last MMA fight, I actually obviously shaved my head. I had a goatee. I had my Austin 316 vest out, came out to the glass breaking. It was an epic moment. Unfortunately, I lost, but still was an epic walkout moment for me.
Let's go. Wait, Dirt MMA says Cejudo says he's fighting Payton, but I don't trust that. Wait, why don't you trust that happens? I didn't read that part of the comment. No, that's happening. What, you think he's gonna pull out or something? Because I think it's definitely gonna happen. But Dirt MMA says, thanks, guys. Glad to be a new sub. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're gonna close out the show. Thank you guys so much. And of course, we love doing this show. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I flew in back to LA I had a flight early this morning. I had to get up at 6:45 a.m. Michigan time, which is 3:45 a.m. Actually earlier than that, LA time. So it's been a very long day for me. I'm exhausted, but of course this show brings me back to life. So thank you guys so much for the support and the engagement and all the good stuff and giving us a platform to talk about the sport that we love so much. The only sport that I watch. I don't watch anything else. I only watch MMA. So let's go. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you in the next episode. Let's go RDR. Let's go Kevin Holland. We'll see you guys Monday. Take it easy.